You've probably been in this situation before. You like a woman, conversations flow when you talk, she smiles at your jokes, she laughs at your energy. But here's the catch, she never texts you first. And that leaves you wondering, does she even like me? Or am I wasting my time? Well, here's the truth. Just because a woman doesn't text you first doesn't automatically mean she's not interested. In fact, there are deep psychological, emotional, and even social reasons behind why she holds back, even while she's secretly into you. And today, I'm going to break down 7 powerful reasons why she doesn't text first but still likes you, and more importantly, what you should do about it. Before we dive in, let me ask you, have you ever dealt with a woman who never reached out first, but when you finally did text her, she responded warmly like she'd been waiting? If yes, drop a comment below saying, "That's me." I'd love to see how many guys can relate to this exact situation. Alright, let's get straight into it. Here are the 7 reasons why she doesn't text you first, but don't be fooled, because some of these will surprise you. 1. She wants you to be the pursuer. Let's start with one of the biggest reasons why she doesn't text first. She wants you to be the pursuer. Now, whether we like it or not, traditional gender roles still play a massive part in dating dynamics. Many women are taught, consciously or unconsciously, that men should be the ones to chase, initiate, and pursue. To her, waiting for you to text isn't about disinterest. It's about making sure she doesn't come across as desperate or overly available. In her mind, texting you first might feel like she's breaking some kind of unspoken rule of attraction. So instead of risking being judged as too eager, she holds back and waits for you to make the move. And when you do, she'll often respond quickly and warmly, because deep down, she's happy you reached out. What this looks like in real life. So what does this look like in real life? You'll notice that she rarely initiates conversations, but when you do text, she responds quickly, engages in the conversation, and even keeps it going. She might throw in flirty emojis, ask about your day, or laugh at your jokes. Yet she never hits you up first. This is a classic sign that it's not that she's not interested, it's that she's deliberately leaving the ball in your court. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this stems from a mix of biology and social conditioning. Biologically, women are wired to be selective and cautious when it comes to relationships. Socially, many grow up with the idea that if they initiate too much, they risk lowering their value in the eyes of men. In other words, by not texting first, she's preserving her sense of feminine mystique, while still showing interest once you break the ice. Why this is dangerous in relationships. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If she never texts first, it can create an imbalance in effort. You might start to feel like you're doing all the work, which can eventually lead to frustration or even resentment. The danger here is that while she's waiting for you to prove your interest, you might start to assume she doesn't care, and that miscommunication can kill attraction before things even have a chance to grow. How to handle it. So, how do you handle this? The key is balance. If you're always the one texting first, don't immediately assume she's disinterested. Instead, pay attention to how she responds. If she's warm, responsive, and engaged, it's a strong sign she likes you. But don't let yourself become her only source of effort. After a while, you can gently test her interest by pulling back slightly. Skip initiating for a day or two and see if she reaches out. If she doesn't, then you know her interest may not be strong enough. But if she does, congratulations, you've confirmed she's into you, even if she prefers you to lead the way. 2. She's afraid of rejection. Another big reason she doesn't text first, even though she likes you, is fear of rejection. Let's be honest, nobody likes to feel unwanted. And for some women, texting first feels like putting their heart on the line. If you don't reply, or worse, if your reply seems cold, it'll feel like outright rejection to her. To avoid that risk, she chooses silence, even when she's dying to talk to you. Her thought process goes something like this: if he likes me, he'll reach out. If I reach out and he doesn't respond the way I want, then I'll know he doesn't care. For her, not texting first is a way of protecting her ego and emotions. What this looks like in real life. In real life, this might look like her hovering over her phone, starting to type, and then backing out of the chat. Or maybe she drops little hints in person, like, "Text me when you get home," but she won't actually send that first "good morning" text herself. Instead, she waits for you to show up in her notifications first. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this comes down to insecurity and a fear of vulnerability. Some women simply aren't confident enough to take the first step because they've been rejected before or they overthink every little detail. In her mind, it's safer to wait for you to show interest than to risk exposing herself and being met with silence. This hesitation doesn't mean she doesn't care, it means she cares so much that the thought of rejection feels unbearable. Why this is dangerous in relationships. Here's why this can be dangerous. If both of you are waiting on the other to initiate, communication slows down or dies altogether. Misunderstandings creep in, and she may start assuming you don't care because you didn't text, while you may assume she doesn't care because she didn't text. That standoff can sabotage what could have been a meaningful connection. How to handle it. So, how do you handle this? The key is reassurance. If you sense she's the type who's afraid of rejection, show her through your consistency that she's safe with you. That doesn't mean blowing up her phone, but it does mean being clear in your interest. Once she sees that you're genuinely into her, she may start opening up more and even surprise you with the occasional first text. But if she never does, and you feel like the effort is one-sided, then you'll have to ask yourself if this is a pattern you're willing to live with long-term. 3. She enjoys the chase. Now let's talk about something women don't always admit out loud. Some women don't text first because they enjoy the chase. That's right, sometimes it's not insecurity, it's not fear of rejection, it's strategy. She wants to feel pursued, and withholding that first text is her way of testing whether you'll take the bait. Think about it. If she's genuinely interested but never initiates, it might be because she loves the feeling of being wanted. When your name pops up on her screen first, it feeds her ego and confirms her femininity. To her, making you chase just a little bit is part of the romance. What this looks like in real life. In real life, this might look like her being super chatty and engaged once you start the conversation, but the conversation rarely begins with her. She's quick to respond, she laughs at your jokes, she even drops flirty comments. But the ball is always in your court. She's waiting for you to show up, because that's how she measures your interest. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this is rooted in biology and social conditioning. Women have been taught for generations that being too forward makes them look desperate. On top of that, attraction science shows that people often value what they work for. By making you do the chasing, she's reinforcing the idea that she's a prize worth pursuing. For her, letting you text first isn't laziness, it's strategy. Why this is dangerous in relationships. Here's the problem though, if it becomes too one-sided, you'll feel drained. Always chasing, always initiating, always putting in the effort without seeing the same in return, it starts to feel like a game. And when communication feels like a game, trust and balance in the relationship can suffer. The risk here is that you start questioning her intentions. Does she like you, or does she just like being chased? How to handle it. So how do you handle this? 2 words. Set boundaries. If she's genuinely into you, she'll step up once she sees you're not going to play endless cat and mouse. You don't have to stop texting altogether, but don't condition her to expect you'll always initiate. Pull back a little and see if she makes a move. That's how you'll know if she truly likes you, or if she just enjoys the thrill of being chased. 4. She doesn't want to seem desperate. Now let's get into a reason that many women secretly admit to their girlfriends, but almost never to the guy they're dating. She doesn't text first because she doesn't want to seem desperate. To her, sending the first text feels like putting all her cards on the table, and that can be terrifying. She's afraid you'll think she's clingy, too eager, or worst of all, that she doesn't have other options. What this looks like in real life. In real life, this looks like hesitation. Maybe she drafts a message but doesn't send it. Or maybe she waits hours before replying just to balance things out. She could be dying to talk to you, but she's holding back because she's terrified of giving the impression that she has nothing else going on in her life. So instead, she waits for you to make the first move, because that feels safer to her image. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this comes down to fear of rejection and ego preservation. For many women, appearing too available feels risky because it threatens their perceived value. Society has conditioned women to believe that men value mystery, independence, and self-sufficiency. So if she texts first, she thinks she's giving away all her power. To her, waiting for your message is a way to protect her pride and maintain control. Why this is dangerous in relationships. Here's why this mindset is dangerous. Healthy relationships require vulnerability. If she's constantly worried about looking desperate, she's holding back from showing her real feelings. That creates distance between you two. Over time, you may feel like you're carrying the entire weight of communication, while she hides behind a fear of being judged. And when vulnerability is missing, real intimacy struggles to grow. How to handle it. So how should you handle this? The key is reassurance. If you notice she never texts first but lights up when you do, give her small signals that it's safe for her to reach out. Something as simple as telling her, "I like when you text me first," can work wonders. Over time, as she feels secure with you, she'll start dropping that wall and initiating conversations. But if she doesn't, then you need to ask yourself, do you want a partner who's too scared of judgment to show she cares? 5. She's testing your interest. Now let's talk about one of the trickiest reasons why she doesn't text first. She's testing your interest. And yes, some women play this subtle game to figure out just how much effort you're willing to put in. By holding back, she's not necessarily disinterested. In fact, she might like you a lot, but she wants to see if you like her enough to take the lead. What this looks like in real life. In reality, this looks like silence from her side of the chat. She waits. Hours pass. Maybe a whole day. And she doesn't reach out because she's silently observing. Will he notice? Will he make the effort? If you send that text, she might respond instantly, excitedly, as though she had been waiting all along. But she'll rarely admit that the silence was intentional. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this stems from her need for reassurance. Women want to feel desired, and one way some test this is by stepping back and watching if you step forward. If you do, in her mind, it proves you're genuinely interested. If you don't, she interprets that as a sign you're not that invested. It's her way of protecting her heart without coming across as too forward. Why this is dangerous in relationships. The danger here is obvious. When communication turns into a test, the relationship becomes a game. Instead of two people being open and honest about what they want, it becomes a silent competition of who cares more. And that creates unnecessary tension. Over time, this behavior leads to frustration, miscommunication, and even resentment, because instead of clarity, you're constantly being put through hidden exams. How to handle it. So how do you deal with this? Recognize the pattern. If she never initiates but is always enthusiastic when you text, there's a good chance she's testing you. If you're okay with leading, then keep initiating but also gently address it. For example, you can say something like, I like when you text me first sometimes. This sets a boundary without being confrontational. And if she respects you, she'll start to adjust. But if she keeps using silence as a way to measure your feelings, then you may need to question how healthy her communication style really is. 6. She enjoys being pursued. Another reason why she doesn't text first but still likes you is simple. She enjoys being pursued. For many women, the chase is part of the attraction. It's not that she doesn't want you, it's that she wants you to show her that you want her. She thrives on the validation that comes from you reaching out, making the first move, and taking the lead. In her mind, that pursuit proves your interest. What this looks like in real life. In real life, this looks like her being active in every other way. She'll laugh at your jokes, she'll engage in person, she'll flirt with you. But when it comes to texting first, she goes quiet. Instead, she waits for your name to pop up on her screen, because to her, that effort from you is confirmation that you're serious about her. The psychology behind it. The psychology behind this traces back to traditional dating dynamics and evolutionary psychology. For centuries, men have been the initiators, the hunters, the pursuers. And while times have changed, many women still feel most desirable when a man shows consistent effort. For her, it's not laziness. It's her way of testing whether you're genuinely invested. If you always chase, she feels secure in knowing you truly want her. Why this is dangerous in relationships. But here's the danger: if she takes this too far, it can create an imbalance. If she never initiates, it can feel one-sided. Over time, you may feel like you're auditioning for her affection instead of building a mutual connection. And that imbalance can lead to resentment, because relationships work best when both partners are willing to put themselves out there. How to handle it. If you notice she enjoys being pursued, lean into it, but only to a point. It's okay to chase in the beginning, but eventually, you need to see some effort from her too. Drop subtle hints. For example, say something like, I love when you text me first, it makes my day. If she really likes you, she'll pick up on that and start balancing the effort. If she never does, then you need to ask yourself, is she genuinely interested, or does she just enjoy the attention? 7. She doesn't want to appear too available. And finally, one of the biggest reasons why she doesn't text first, but still likes you, is because she doesn't want to appear too available. A lot of women are taught that if they show too much eagerness too soon, they'll scare a man off or come across as desperate. So even if she's staring at her phone, itching to text you, she'll hold back because she wants to maintain a sense of mystery and self-control. What this looks like in real life. In real life, this looks like her being super engaged when you're together. Laughing, leaning in, showing all the body language of a woman who's into you. But when you're apart, she intentionally pulls back. She's not ghosting you, she's just controlling her response time because she wants you to wonder about her. She believes that if she texts too quickly, you'll think she has nothing else going on in her life. The psychology behind it. Psychologically, this comes from social conditioning and dating culture. Many women are told, either by friends, dating advice, or personal experience, that being too available kills attraction. It's part of the push-pull dynamic, the idea that leaving a little mystery keeps the man interested. So even if she likes you, she holds back on texting first to protect her image of being desired and not desperate. Why this is dangerous in relationships. But here's the danger: if this continues for too long, it creates unnecessary games. Playing too hard to get can cause confusion, miscommunication, and even missed opportunities. Men who don't understand this dynamic may think she's not interested at all and pull away completely. Over time, this can stop a relationship from even starting, simply because both people were too afraid of appearing too available. How to handle it. So, how do you handle this? The best approach is balance. Show her that you're confident enough to pursue, but also demonstrate that you value your time. If she never texts first, take note. You can even playfully bring it up by saying something like, "You know, I'd love it if you texted me first sometimes." If she truly likes you, she'll break her own pattern to prove it. And if she doesn't, then her lack of effort has already given you the answer you need. Now, what do all of these reasons have in common? They're not rooted in a lack of attraction, but in fear, uncertainty, or a desire to protect themselves. Women are emotional creatures, and texting patterns don't always reflect how they truly feel. Just because she doesn't initiate doesn't mean she doesn't want you. Sometimes it means she's waiting for you to show her that it's safe to step forward. So here's my advice to you, gentlemen. Stop obsessing over who texts first, and focus instead on the energy and effort she shows when you do connect. If she's engaged, responsive, and present when you're together, that's far more valuable than who starts the conversation. Don't get stuck in the game of counting texts. Look at the bigger picture: her consistency, her presence, and her willingness to invest in you. At the end of the day, a mature and healthy relationship isn't built on who texted first. It's built on mutual respect, genuine connection, and emotional availability. And if she truly values you, she will show up in ways that go far beyond a good morning text.